Hi, I'm Arden Compton, and I would like to share with you some insights on the deception of anger, the pitfalls of anger. Anger often masquerades as something that's going to be helpful. When we're angry, feel like we're going to fix something or stop something bad from happening or correct something. And the illusion is that anger is helpful. And actually it's not. Anger causes more problems than anything that it ever fixes, if it ever fixes anything at all. And to start off with, I want to share with you a story, an experience that I had many years ago, and to protect the names of those involved, I won't share all the specifics, but I was in a scenario where I had a job where I had a coworker who was very disrespectful, very rude in a way, and it bugged me. Okay, it got me angry. All right, I was angry that this coworker was not respecting me, and I remember talking to my boss, our employer. I said, "Hey, this coworker this is what's going on, and I don't think it's okay." And the boss said, "Yeah, okay, I'll talk to this person about it." But my boss never did. Okay, and the disrespect continued, and it was really gnawing at me. I was angry. I wanted to punch the guy in the nose. He wasn't physically doing anything to me, but he was being very disrespectful. And so in this scenario where I was just feeling agitated, there was tension in my gut. I was like, oh, this guy's a jerk. And I was angry. And in this scenario, I was also miserable. And I like to be happy, okay? I'm a happy-natured person. And I was not happy at work. This was a summer job. I knew that it was only going to last till the end of August. This was probably starting, late April, early May. I was feeling a lot of frustration with this coworker, and I thought, man, am I going to be? Is this what's going on all summer long? And in this scenario where I was pretty miserable and I felt this tension, and I just wanted to be free of this miserable tension and inner turmoil. And I actually said a prayer. I'm a praying person. I believe in prayer. And as I was going about my work, just in my mind, I was saying a silent prayer. I said, God, I'm miserable. I want to be happy again. I don't like feeling this way. How do I get back to being happy again? And as I said this prayer, now for me, rarely do answers to prayers come with words. It's usually impressions or ideas or a nudge or a feeling of peace or something, and that's good. Those are valid answers to prayer. But in this scenario, specific words came to mind, which is unusual for me. And the phrase came to mind, you need to apologize to him. I thought, what? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Why would I apologize to him? Now, as far as I know, I was innocent. I don't know why he was treating me with disrespect. To this day, I don't know what got him going on this. I probably did something that I didn't know was offensive. I don't know. I do not know why he decided to put me on his blacklist and treat me with this disrespect. So the words came, you need to apologize to him, and my gut response was, not a chance. I've got nothing to apologize for. I'm just doing my job. I haven't done anything. So I ignored that idea, that impression. And a few more days go by, and I'm still miserable at work. And I find myself again, as I'm going about my day, saying a silent prayer in my mind, God, please help me. I don't like feeling this way. What do I need to do to get back to being happy? And the impression came again. You need to apologize to him. And since it was the same impression, and I knew it wasn't my thoughts, because to me it made no sense, I thought, okay, what do I need to apologize? I've just kind of continued the prayer in my mind. What do I need to apologize for? And then a follow-up phrase came. Again, I don't usually give phrases, but this time, through the grace of God, I got some specific phrases that came to mind. And the second phrase was, you've been angry. Your anger is wrong. You need to apologize. I thought, huh, really? My anger's wrong? Because he's a jerk. I haven't done anything, and he's being rude and disrespectful, and Is it wrong to be angry? So I hadn't considered that my anger was wrong. My anger felt completely justified. Of course I'm angry. The guy's a jerk. But I thought, And as I considered the possibility of apologizing to him, which I didn't want to do, I still didn't like the idea. This was not liking this. But as I considered that possibility, I felt a slight easing of the tension in my gut, so to speak, this inner tension that I felt. I thought, okay, that's a clue. I want this. This was really motivating me to do something because I don't like feeling that way. Since the impression came twice and I knew that it wasn't my idea, I decided I was just going to have to do this, even though this was super awkward. This was not somebody that was easily approachable at this point. And I thought, okay, how am I going to do this? And I didn't want to do it when any other coworkers were around. And so actually a couple days went by and I saw him go into a room where I knew he would be the only one in the room at that point. I thought, okay, I'm just going to go in there and do this. So I go over to this room, I open the door and walk in, and he turns around as he hears the door open. He sees me coming in. He's a little bit surprised. And I just walked straight up to him, no small chat about anything. I just said to him, I've been angry with you. My anger is wrong. I apologize. He was really surprised. Of course, he was not expecting this. And he didn't say much. I wasn't expecting him to reciprocate or say, oh no, it's really my fault. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, have some brownies. No, he didn't reciprocate in any way. He just said, oh, hey, well, okay, whatever. He kind of brushed by my shoulder and he was out the door. I don't know what he was doing before I came in, but he didn't do it anymore. He didn't finish whatever he started. He was gone. And which is fine. Again, I had no attachments to his response. But as I walked out of that room, I felt like I was walking on air. I felt so light. I felt so free. I felt joy. I was like, wow, like this heavy burden had been dropped off my shoulders and I just felt so good. I was like, that's amazing. And there was a question in my mind. Why did that work? I don't understand what just happened. I really didn't. Why did I feel so much better after saying that simple phrase? And I continued to feel pretty good. Okay, he continued being a jerk. The story doesn't end with us becoming best friends and he sends me Christmas cards every year or something. No, he continued basically doing his routine that he did. But for some reason, it didn't get under my skin anymore. It didn't bother me anymore. I just continued to do my job, and he wasn't interfering with me doing my job. He was just, being a jerk over there on the side. But I felt good the rest of the summer. It didn't bother me anymore. And for years, I wondered about that. I thought, why did that work? And it wasn't until years later I was reading a book called The Anatomy of Peace, which I highly recommend. And as I read this book, something clicked and I realized what had happened. You see, I thought he was making me miserable because he was treating me with disrespect. He's being a jerk. Okay, he's hurting me, was the story I was telling myself. It's because of him I'm unhappy. It's his fault I'm unhappy. He's hurting me by his disrespect. Okay? But what I realized, it wasn't what he was doing that was hurting me. It was my anger at what he was doing that was hurting me. I was hurting me by being angry at him for treating me with disrespect. And what I unwittingly did, and I didn't understand exactly what I did when I said, I've been angry with you, my anger's wrong, I apologize. What I was doing was letting go of being angry about it. It didn't mean I agreed with it. And in this scenario, there wasn't any other significant action I needed to take. Some actions there's more serious consequences to things. But in this scenario, that was all that was required. And by simply letting go of angry at his disrespect, I was free. I was liberated from being a victim to his disrespect. I was now free to be happy, even though he continued being disrespectful. And so this is a really, really important life lesson. My anger was hurting me. My anger was making me miserable. My anger was causing all this inner tension that I was blaming him for. It's natural that we blame others. because others do things that are not okay. Others do hurtful things. Others do things a lot worse than what my coworker was doing. Okay, this was relatively mild compared to some of the trauma and severe abuse and horrific things, really horrific things that happen on our planet. It's super sad. But I believe the principle is the same. It's our response to what happens that affects us more than what happened. Viktor Frankl, who wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning, he was a Jew in the German concentration camps in World War II, where you could say he was a victim. Okay, I mean, I have no idea. I read his book, so I know what he said, but I have no really comprehension of his experience. Never been in anything like that. But he came up with a realization in this concentration camp where and I'm paraphrasing what he said in my own words. Okay, go read his book. But basically they took away all of his external choices. He didn't get to choose what he was going to eat, what he was going to wear, what he was going to do. They stripped him of everything. And if he disagreed, they would shoot him. Okay, I mean, it's pretty horrific. And in this scenario where he had no external choices, he realized he still had an internal choice. He said they could tell me to stand in line, but they couldn't tell me what to think when I'm standing in line. It's a really important principle. We get to choose a response. He realized he could choose his thoughts, his inner response, his emotional response to the external circumstances. And he was no longer a victim to this horrific external circumstances where there is nothing in the circumstances that would bring happiness, nothing in the circumstances that were good. And yet he came to a place of great inner peace because he realized it was his choice on how he would respond to what happened. He came up with a little, almost an equation, except there's no numbers in it, where he said between stimulus and response. So stimulus is something happening to us. Okay, somebody slaps me in the face, somebody punches me, whatever, somebody's disrespectful to me, somebody disagrees with me, whatever the stimulus is, something happens that affects me, and then how am I going to respond to it? So he said between the stimulus and our response to the stimulus should be a window of time for choice, where we choose a response to the stimulus, or we can forfeit choice and simply let the stimulus choose the response. And initially when my coworker was being a jerk, that was the stimulus. He's treating me with disrespect. He triggered a response, anger, can't let him get away. This is so wrong, this isn't fair, it's not right. And it wasn't right, and it wasn't fair. But he triggered a response of anger. Anger is most often a triggered response. It's not a choice. When we actually choose a response, we realize anger isn't necessary. Even if action is required to deal with a significant challenge or problem, we can take correct action without anger. Anger doesn't make us more right. There's an illusion that if I'm angry, that proves I'm right. We feel more right when we're angry. I'm angry because they're wrong. Look what they're doing. And of course I'm angry at that. And anger is part of our own self-deception that somehow we're more right when we're angry. And as if anger is going to stop them or change them or correct them. But it really doesn't. And even if it does, sometimes through anger coercion, people change behavior of another person. But that's not really the right way to do it. It's not the higher way to do it. We can take correct action without anger. Anger doesn't make us right. Anger doesn't protect us. Anger doesn't stop bad things from happening. Anger is just robbing us of peace, and it's poisonous to ourself. And whatever the scenario is, we can find a loving response. We can choose a response where we're in control, where we are deciding here's appropriate action, whatever it may be. What is, I might say, the most Christ-like response, the most authentic response to this scenario that might not be fair at all. It might be horrific. It might be nasty. I don't know. There's lots of things that go on. But we don't want to be a victim to the circumstance. We want to choose a response to the circumstance. Because if we let anger be triggered, that anger comes back to us. in a very stressful way. It really causes us pain. It's a burden. Again, when I apologize to that guy, a burden dropped off of me. An angry, inner state of anger is heavy. It's burdensome. It's tiresome. It's fatiguing. Let it go. Let go of condemning judgment to whoever's wronging you, and find a more loving response to whatever is going on. Let go of judging those who are judging you, and then you will find inner peace. It's my hope, my prayer, my desire that we can treat each other with goodwill, with authentic kindness, with patience, that we can be benevolent with one another and have the best interest of others in mind. And as we let go of anger, we can come to a place of greater peace and love and goodwill towards all people. God bless you.